I have to wait for the glitch. I'm always having to wait for that damn glitch. But anyhow, hey guys, what's going down? What's going down? Well, could shut me up today. You know, I kind of enjoy this not doing anything. You know, although, you know, I am self-employed, which kind of means that I'm always unemployed. But I really live off of the graces of, you know, the kindness of strangers. But anyways, I don't want you to worry about me, okay? Because you know, I really enjoy this. This is really kind of fun. You know, it's like I'm like a kid in the candy shop, and you know, we're only discrediting religion. All right, we're not discrediting the Bible, okay? And you know, I hope you're understanding that what we are learning has absolutely nothing to do with religion. That if I want to make fun of Jesus, if I want to make fun of something like that or the Bible, I can do that, and I will. Just to let you know, if you can't handle that, well, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you that. It's one of those disclaimers, because it's not going to sound at all very religious. Okay, it's just kind of interesting. But right now in the book of Genesis, as the beginning of things, we were brought on to the idea of what consciousness would be with Elohim, and the making of Adam and Eve. The joining together of these two guys, and then the split and the separating. The idea of making a decision, came into play. This idea that there is good and evil. This is the cross that we all wind up bearing. If you can bear bear my cross. That's what that means. Shit. I don't want to fall off the line here. But what happens is you're being introduced to consciousness in some kind of a slow form. Like right now, there's really no separation. There's the earth. He's been sent into earth, but he's really just on the other side of Eden and all this stuff. There's really not that big separation. They're all still joined together in some kind of holy matrimony. But the thing is that his children now are all thinking on their own, and they're paying a lot of attention to the lower extremities of things. We're looking at falling in love or hooking up with the lower side of us. And I've done this already when I was talking about Enoch, and like I said, it's like taking a walk on the wild side. But what I was saying was that the higher mind was taking a trip over here to the lower, but it's really just we still haven't really made that higher thing yet in this particular area. We're still like Cro-Magnon man, and that's why they make them into giants, and they probably were. They were big heads, big brains, and there was nothing going on in there and all. And it just the consciousness of the lower mind seemed to always be focused on desire, and which is the lower extremities. And so well, God's like, oh my God, this is all they do continuously. It's like, oh my God. So it's this kind of animal nature, and so you get this, what do they call it, anthropod, whatever, animal, the human animal. This is how a friend of mine, we were talking about the bull cult, and there's a lot of animals, human beings, animal and human mixes together. This was a particular kind of prehistoric mind that had leached on to its emotions, and then because of that, their emotions were ruled by this. And of course, what you're supposed to understand is that this is the land was cursed that they live on. And so what they were supposed to do, we're skinned. The skin is cursed, that was what happened a little earlier. So, anyways, I just thought I would let you know that that's the makings behind the sons of men or the sons of God mixing with the daughters of men, because it's really like the higher side of you mixing with this female side, and creating, this is the lower feeding the lower. You're fornicating with her. She later on in the story, she winds up being the slave, or the bonds woman, or something like bondsmaid. But this situation is because she is the husband and wife. It's a lower situation. All right, but anyways, now we're in this spot, and let's see if there's anything else I wanted to do. All right, yeah. Before they started talking about men, multiplying a bunch of times. There's this little little rundown of another family tree, and I'm going to tell you that those are all. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, boom. But in one of those, before it gets to the end, it's like they foreshadow. They say, hey, so when Noah is born, and of course Noah, they're foreshadowing him. Let me see if I got that. They are foreshadowing. Here it is. When they talk about Lamech, it's a Lamech. Lamechon is the one who gives birth to Noah, the son Noah, and saying this same will comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the land of which the Lord hath cursed. All right, that was the spoiler. That's what I was talking about. Remember, you were talking about hand is about power, and remember, I don't think anyone has been really taught that idea about the seven chakras yet. This whole thing hasn't happened yet. I keep thinking, because I know I've done parts of Moses, and of course that's when they introduce the chakra system of a way of coming up here. But right now what they're doing is they're getting ready to introduce the 4. It's going to be changed into I'm mad now, and I'm going to change things, and I'm going to add one more thing to this, and that's that fourth consciousness, that when you get up to the delta phase, I'm going to this is the way it is. So anyways, that's the whole idea behind this little segue between our minds, the birth of our minds, the birth of thought, the idea of making your own decision, and then a whole mess of, oh my goodness, directing your mind. He's look at all these guys fucking around all over the place. This reminds me of a story that they that I think that plays out in an ancient culture, where the Dogon tribe, where they talked about, in the beginning, all these people were, made man and woman, and then they were all fucking all the time. They're always making noise, fucking, all the noise, and it drove the man crazy. I'm telling you, I've heard this story someplace before, but it was about, making man, and they were talking about one man would go in here and they would turn him into a man, and another one would turn in here and this would turn you into a woman. I guess that we were all men at one time. So, that's more than likely, like people think now, is that, there's only men around. That's all they talk about is men, But it's really funny. So what happens is you've got these, you have men begin to multiply upon the earth, all right, and they take on daughters, which daughters were born unto them. And you have to understand that these aren't real daughters, that this is an extension of yourself. And a daughter is part of the lower conscious of yours, of desires. So we've taken on, this is our emotions. And it's just, most interesting to think about that we choose to hold on to this part of us. All right? I can hear it sprinkling outside. All right, so and they are born into them. Okay, so this is the mind being, go get mixed up with desires. They're united. Okay, and the sons of gods and the sons of gods, saw the daughters of men, and thought it was fair, and they took for them wives. All right, so they took for them the emotional nature too. So these are like spirits, the soul, saw that, hey, this is kind of fun. They saw the animal nature of somebody. They saw the crying. They saw all this and all that sex, perhaps, and it didn't seem fair, and so they wanted to do it too. So this was just the way it was, and it's like God's like, damn. Even the higher nature is falling for this shit. I can't. What's going on? My spirit will not be able to handle all of this. This is like, oh my God, it's mayhem. All right, can you hear it? Is that the storm? Well, anyways, I hope you can still hear me. I've gone too far to have to do this again. All right. So anyway, what it is that animal nature in them, what created these monsters or these giants, is it's the ego. It's the ego. It's the ideas of the mind. So they are identifying themselves, That's with the daughters of men, and it just makes them. They are the ones. I'm the side. That's why everybody's worshiping the outside. That's mankind's side. That's just what I see. So anyways, real fast, this is intentional illusion of personality. So this was the illusion of the personalities. This is when, and they're telling us like, oh yeah, like you guys are worshiping yourself. That's an illusion. That's an illusion of my personality. And it's an illusion of this process, It's like peeing or not peeing. It's like working out or doing something natural. You just learn to shut off, go inside, clean out, boom, down, shoot like that. It's like peeing. It's like taking a shit. That's how you clean out. Shit. But anyways, the instrument of the divine. But anyways, it's seeking for the self through a lower plane. All right, and that's what brings about the animal or the ego, the monster, and this just makes them sick to hear all of that. All right, so whenever it's done like this, you think about this higher side of you, because you're still in this position of being with God, because you haven't necessarily been separated from Him at this place, at this point. He doesn't have a way of correcting you. He doesn't have any way of submitting you to anything. There's not a way. There's no law. There's nothing yet. That's where we are in the book. All right. So what he would see this is as they're my lost sheep. That this earth ground, this earth that he has, is a learning ground. Our lower mind, this lower conscious of us is a teaching tool, something of his makings. It's to help us evolve and to grow into things. That's why they make us out to be plants and trees and stuff like that. And because we can start off little, grow from the ground, and eventually branch out, and turn into something cool someday. And of course, inside of those trees is something really beautiful. So they would look at it more as like lost sheep that's gone astray. And you can't always you won't always oppose this higher nature. All right, and I don't. It's about evolution of the soul. All right. So what happens is that he says, so the sons came in to the daughters of men, and they bore children. Some became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And like I said, this was the whole point of connecting into the lower side of us, our lower emotions, and that becomes what drives us. And God's like, this can't happen. This can't be like this all the time, because look at all these motherfuckers fornicating all over the place, And, oh, man, before you know it, everybody in the universe is going to be doing nothing but fornicating. It going to the lower. He says it's evil. Evil means lower the lower vibrations, things that destroy or disrupt things. And that's all they think about. Think about it, It's kind of funny that way. Let's see if there's any more in here about that, but I think we're about done it. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. All right? Yet his days shall be 120 years. All right, this is where, 120 years, what is that? My flesh, my spirit, man, let me see. My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also flesh. Remember, he is not talking about a whole world of people at one time. He's talking about you. He's talking about you. And you're just so corrupted, so polluted, and so full of yourself. I'm not so sure. I'm not, we're not always going to be together, you and me. We're not always. You know what's going to separate us? You know what's going to separate us? 120 years. You know what that is? 3. When you kill yourself, you're going to separate yourself from the evil side, the bad side of you. You will have divorced this conscious of the lower and start feeding from the lower and start feeding from the higher. But he has to introduce this. All right? So the whole thing in this is, when I was looking for the cadence in this, and God saw that the wickedness of men was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continuously. All right, now I just said that. I forgot there was another page here. But that means that, all they want to do is, think about the lower part. So it's good to say that. And it repented the Lord that he had made man and earth. And I grieveth him. And it grieveth him at his heart. Said, I will destroy off the face of the earth both man and beast. And the creepy things. Remember, man and beast, what we are in duality right now, Man and beast, okay, and, well, anyways, and the creepy things, that's all the stuff that's inside us, so that's earth, all right, and all the creepy things, and all the fowls of the air, for it repeatedly, all right, because it repenteth me, it just makes him change his mind, makes him go the opposite way. He loved that first. He did all this, won all this, and now he's like, oh my God, look at all these fucking fools, There's some literalness for those people out there that are looking for my what do you call it? My new age approach to things. So anyways, the fowls of the air is the third phase. The people, the creepy things, and all this stuff is the second phase. And then it says, and then Noah found grace in that of the Lord. And that was all by itself. The way these have been running, and I just happened to look for the cadence rhythm in it. And it's 1, 2, 3. That's when you learn when you're gonna die. 1, 2, 3. That's 12 is 3. And then there was the next set, 1, 2, 3. And then there was the next set, 1, 2, 3. And then the introduction of 4, which is this idea that I'm going to destroy you. He hasn't done that anywhere else. There may be the idea of throwing him out of heaven, but that's not it. That's after heaven is finished with you, do you leave? He's going to destroy you now. He's going to kick you out of heaven. All right? And so what you're going to find is this is the prelude towards Noah's Ark, where they introduced baptism, being birthed by water, being cleaned, having the skin cleansed by water. I know it's kind of a spoiler alert, but you understand it. You know, you had the beginning and this and that, and now you've been, you know, now he's fed up. You know, he's gonna, you know. Remember later on, we asked, you get to choose which one it is, you know, and then when they choose which side they want, there's this line drawn, and okay, fine, you're there, and we're here, you know. But you know, until we get there, we're gonna find out all these things. I think we'll find out what a Jew is, what a real Jew is, and what a real Jerusalem is, because these things have to be built yet. They haven't come into play. Just notice that, you know, they don't even have a savior yet, you know, and all you're doing is killing yourself. But he's telling you, dude, the stories have been run on. This still is just telling you about how our mind, our conscious is evolving. All right? So I hope you enjoyed that, you know, because wait till we tear up. We're going to blow Noah's Ark out of the water. We certainly are. We certainly are. Yeah, and we're going to use God's truth to do it with us. All right? Tell you, thank you guys. I hope I can upload this. And say hello to that gal who's running around asking a lot of questions. She's weaving in and out of all our videos like a little snake she is. She's welcome. One day, some knowledge will crack her head right open. Yeah, oh yeah, don't think I was talking mean. I told her that she had to circumcise her ear and pluck her eyes out before she could ever even try to understand this. Because she can't hear and she can't see. She's blind. So that's what that means. Unplug them fucking ears. Or circumcise them. You know, cut them off from the lower. Learn how to listen. Take on that ear. Alright, I love y'all. See you later. Good night.